Well, happy Thursday to you. I'm meteorologist Justin Gertz, and thanks for joining us here on the 10 Weather Impact Show on 10 TV Plus. Certainly have some warm weather ahead of us over the coming days. In fact, I just took a little stroll outside a short time ago, and a little breezy, yes, but that sunshine, the warm temperatures, it is good stuff for sure. We have plenty more of that on the way. Still have a little bit of shower chances to contend with coming up as well. Now today is even warmer than what we had yesterday, and of course the day before when we were stuck in the 40s. It is going to be breezy again once more as we go throughout the next couple of days. Gusts today, maybe over 20 miles an hour, and then a little bit higher yet as we look ahead toward tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, there are some showers on the way later on tomorrow. Now, yes, there is a decent chance of showers tomorrow, but it is not an all-day rain. It is not a heavy rain. More later in the afternoon and evening, some spotty activity that comes by should be fairly light. Now, compared to this time 24 hours ago, certainly warmer, a good 15 to 20 degrees warmer across a good share of the state. Here in Columbus, we're 16 degrees warmer now at 2 p.m. than what we were yesterday at this time. What does that mean for temperatures? Well, 73 degrees in Columbus, certainly very nice. Around the entire state, just about everybody has crossed into the 70s this afternoon. Toledo, the lone holdout at 69 degrees, but still, that's functionally 70 degrees. Now, part of the reason we are warming up as much as we are is the fact that we have these broad south to southwest winds coming in. Now, they're going to be gusty today, still up around 20 to 25 miles an hour with the highest speeds. And then as we head toward the overnight hours, they back off quite a bit. Should be around 5 to 10 miles an hour as the sun goes down. Going into tomorrow, the sun comes back up, mixes things up some more, so we'll see some gusty winds once again for your Friday, probably peaking around 25 miles an hour in the afternoon, maybe a little bit higher in some spots. Yes, breezy, but when it's this warm, it's more of a nuisance than anything else, and really not even a big deal at all. Here's a live look at Scioto Audubon Metro Park. There you see a lot of sunshine out there. We are seeing some high thin clouds starting to eke in from the northwest, though. That's the sign that the cold front is up that direction. You'll notice, though, here locally, there's just not much going on. Yes, some high thin passing clouds, but really, it is real nice out there. More of the activity is just a bit farther to the north, and I'll draw the cold front on here. There you see it draped across the eastern Great Lakes back toward Iowa. There are some showers really not that far away, even into northern Indiana, southeastern Michigan, even far northwestern Ohio later on this evening. However, even though it's close, it's getting hung up, and it's not until later on tomorrow that it finally presses off toward the south and brings us our shower chances. For the rest of the day, there you see just those passing high clouds on the hour-by-hour forecast, looking just fine. Here's 5 p.m. as we continue to see a good deal of sunshine. If you want to get out this evening, I highly recommend it. The weather is going to be phenomenal. Tomorrow morning, we start with a mostly sunny sky as well. It's not until later in the morning that we start to see those clouds increase a bit ahead of that cold front. We'll pause here at 3 o'clock. There you start to see our northwestern towns maybe starting to see some shower activity by that point. This is a pretty weak, moisture-starved system, though, so as it slides to the southeast, a lot of the shower activity is going to be falling apart. Here's 6 p.m. You'll notice farther north has more green, farther south, not so much, but some spotty showers do work through later in the afternoon into the evening. I would say by 9, 10 o'clock on Friday, a lot of this activity has pushed off toward the south and east. Now, we may see some areas of cloudiness early on Saturday, but that'll clear up pretty quickly, leaving us with a mostly sunny sky for a good share of the day. It is going to be a tad cooler with highs in the 60s, but we rebound very nicely back to around 80 or so coming up on Sunday. As far as rainfall amounts go, generally speaking, around 1/10 of an inch or less in quite a few spots. Now, locally, a few of you may get a little bit more than 1/10 of an inch, but any way you slice it, it is not going to be a significant rain for us. Now, even though that cold front comes through, it doesn't have a big setback for our temperatures. You'll notice today we're at 77, 76 tomorrow. Those numbers about 15 degrees above average. But even on Saturday, that's 67. That's still a bit above normal. Looking ahead toward the next week, yeah, 81 Sunday, 78 Monday, 83 on Tuesday. Those are well above average. In fact, anytime we're in the low 80s now, that's pushing 20 degrees above normal. So certainly something to look forward to if you like that warmth. Today, though, 77 for a high. Southwest winds sustained around 15 to 20, gusting a little higher. We'll have a sunset coming up at 8:04 p.m., so plenty of time to enjoy that nice weather before the sun goes down. For Friday, we do see lows around 51 in the morning, highs around 76 in the afternoon, with that chance of some scattered showers working in later on. A good share of the day is going to be dry. It is not a washout by any means. For Saturday, 46 in the morning, 67 in the afternoon, so not a bad day with a mostly sunny sky. We're back up to 81, though, on Sunday with a lot of sunshine there. Then you'll notice some shower and storm chances are around early next week. There are going to be a series of disturbances that work through. Right now, though, the timing on that is a little muddled, but at this point, it doesn't really matter all that much. We're looking at just some scattered activity here or there. 78 Monday, then we're back in the lower 80s as we go into the area heading toward the middle of the week. So looking quite mild in the coming days. And again, some of those rain chances coming up early next week, but plenty of time to figure out the details on exactly what that'll look like and the impacts here locally. But right now, those days too do not look like they're significant, widespread all-day rains or anything like that. All right, now, of course, we've been talking about getting out and enjoying the weather, but there is a warning from health experts as we do head further into spring. They're talking about ticks making a comeback, and they say there's more than just Lyme disease to watch. So here's what you need to know. Health officials say tick-borne illnesses are on the rise, including a disease called babesiosis. It can make people very sick, especially older adults or those with weak immune systems. Doctors say most cases can be treated, but some can still turn serious.
Patients can be hospitalized and they can develop multi-organ failure and even death.
Now, experts say the best protection is simple. Use bug spray, check for ticks, and remove them quickly. Now, as more people spend time outside, doctors say staying aware is key. Of course, ticks aren't the only thing you need to be worrying about in the spring. It's also peak allergy season right now. Pollen levels are already climbing, triggering symptoms like sneezing, itchy eyes, and congestion. Experts say tree pollen is one of the biggest culprits right now, with grass and weed pollen coming next. To limit exposure, try keeping your windows closed, showering after spending some time outside, and using air filters in your home.
Allergy avoidance is a big thing, so trying to decrease that burden as much as possible, all the way from simple rinsing of the nose with a sinus irrigation system or a neti pot. Some people need to take showers or change clothes when they get home, and then some people just need to avoid any time outside at all, which is unfortunate, but sometimes necessary just given the severity of their symptoms.
Doctors also recommend checking daily pollen forecasts and limiting time outdoors on those high count days. But if symptoms get worse or you don't improve, you may want to talk to a doctor about stronger treatment options. All right, sticking with spring weather, last month was the warmest March ever recorded across the contiguous United States, shattering a 132-degree record. According to NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, temperatures averaged more than 9 degrees above normal, with over half the country experiencing its single warmest March day on record. At the same time, the year is off to a historically dry start. The first 3 months of 2026 are now the driest on record nationwide, with drought expanding to nearly 60% of the country. The combination of heat and lack of rainfall is raising concerns about water supplies, snowpack, and wildfire risk heading into the warmer months. And related to those warm conditions, forecasters are warning that an El Nino may be forming, but this time around, early signs signal this could qualify as a rare super El Nino with stronger than typical impacts. The climate cycle is developing in the Pacific Ocean near the equator. Now, in the United States, it can lead to winter storms in the west and south, bringing the risk of flooding. Strong El Ninos have also been linked to heat waves in the U.S. and elsewhere. Meteorologists are going to be watching closely to see if it forms as expected and just how powerful it becomes. The El Nino is expected to set in by late summer or early fall. Now, El Nino could be a factor with wildfires out west in the coming months. For now, mandatory evacuations have been lifted in the Larimer County, Colorado area for the so-called Cougar Run fire burning near Carter Lake early Wednesday morning. Emergency officials sent out evacuation orders after 6 a.m., but they were all lifted by 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. Another early morning fire also threatened homes in Boulder County Wednesday morning. The so-called Goat Trail fire was fully contained around 9:30 a.m. local time, and residents were allowed back to return home. All right, as dry weather and fires continued out west, water utility officials in Denver, Colorado declared a drought last month in the wake of historically low snowpack levels. Now, to try to combat the effects of drought comes a move that could affect customers' budgets. Jennifer Meckles finds out more about drought pricing.
So I think the state climatologist has said it best recently. It's now safe to conclude that this has been the worst year for Colorado snowpack in recorded history.
Denver Water already declared stage 1 drought, asking people to cut down their water use and stick to scheduled outdoor watering times. Now, customers could see the impact on their wallets.
I'm here today to ask for the approval of drought pricing starting on usage for May and billed on or after June 1st. Based on each customer's billing cycle.
Drought pricing approved Wednesday drives up rates on outdoor watering starting next month, an extra $1 or $2 for every 1,000 gallons. How much exactly Depends on how much you use.
The purpose of drought pricing is to continue to signal that the more water that you use, the more you're going to pay.
The pricing does not change for indoor water use, drinking, cooking, bath water. But despite the price changes, Denver Water is asking everyone to try and find a way on their own to save water right now.
We're asking customers to cut their water use by 20% this year, and that includes indoor and outdoor water use. Outdoor water use is the easiest place to cut water use, to limit the days that you're watering, limit the amount of time, but at the same time, indoor water use matters just as much.
All right, astronauts on the first man-to-moon mission in more than 50 years are getting ready to return to Earth. The Artemis II crew has been up in space for over a week now, doing historic scientific research, but also bumping into each other quite a bit too.
Yes, we are bumping into each other 100% of the time, and we're constantly moving around, whether it's to complete a task, to just eat, to look out the window, to take a picture. Everything we do in here is a four-person activity. But it's also really fun.
Nice little addition there. Now the crew is getting ready for one of the most risky parts of the mission, the return.
At one of the first press conferences, we were asked, what are we looking forward to? And I said, splashdown. And it's kind of humorous, but it's literal as well, that we have to get back. There's so much data that you've seen already, but all the good stuff is coming back with us.
And NASA just released stunning new images from the mission, including views from the far side of the moon. The capsule is now back in Earth's gravity and speeding toward a splashdown off the coast of San Diego tomorrow evening. Recovery crews are already in position.
There's always things that we haven't thought of that will crop up and have us scratching our heads.
So what keeps you up at night is what I haven't potentially thought about.
It's the unknown unknowns.
Officials say the mission isn't considered a success until the crew is safely back on Earth. That moment will come when all 4 astronauts are out of the capsule and safe. NASA's Artemis II mission is again returning to Earth tomorrow, but the 4 crew members would rather talk about the moon. They told some amazing stories overnight about their journey and what they've taken away from the experience. Mark Strassman is in the Johnson Space Center.
There were holes that, craters that appeared to just be endless, bottomless pits.
If Victor Glover sounds excited talking about this space odyssey, he is. They all are. Take this moment, seeing a solar eclipse from space.
It is quite an impressive sight.
It just blew us all away. I mean, you heard the reaction real time, and it was one of the greatest gifts of that part of the mission.
They talked about their trip's most moving moment. Astronaut Jeremy Hansen proposed naming a crater for Commander Reed Wiseman's late wife, Carol. Wiseman said his crewmates had the idea.
And I said, absolutely, I would love that. I think that's just the best. And I said, but I can't give the speech. And Jeremy, the kind of guy he is, he said he would do it. Just for me personally, that was kind of the pinnacle moment of the mission for me.
They also remembered their 40 minutes of solitude in deep space, what it was like to lose all radio contact with Earth on the moon's far side.
Wow, I'm actually getting chills right now just thinking about, my palms are sweating, but it is amazing to watch your home planet disappear behind the moon.
They've taken so many remarkable images, including selfies from their bucket list trip. Here you see Wiseman and Christina Cook in the capsule's windows, but they're also coming home with perspective.
Our purpose on the planet as humans is to find the joy in lifting each other up by creating solutions together instead of destroying. And when you see it from out here, it doesn't change it. It just absolutely reaffirms that.
Oh, that eclipse photo, just real remarkable. The Artemis II splashdown is slated for tomorrow, Friday, between 7 and 10 p.m. You can catch our own meteorologist, Meredith Carfallo, covering that for you on 10 TV+. And if you have any questions, send them in so we can answer them for you. Just text the number you see on your screen. It's 614-460-3345. And if you haven't already, download 10 TV on your TV and watch for free. All right, another bit of space news. Today in history, back on April 9th, 1959, NASA introduced the first American astronauts. The group was known as the Mercury 7 and included Alan Shepard, Gus Grissom, and Ohio's very own John Glenn. Shepard would become the first American to travel to space in 1961. The next year, Glenn would become the first American to orbit the Earth aboard the Friendship 7 capsule. All right, finally today, let's check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. We'll stick with the space theme. Look at these new photos from NASA up in space. The first pictures show some new views of the moon from the Artemis II crew as they made their way around the moon's far side. Some really cool images there. In the next set of photos, as you saw there, some selfies the crew were able to take looking back inside the Orion capsule. These photos were taken using a camera on the end of one of Orion's solar arrays. Got a camera everywhere on that thing, don't they? Very cool stuff there, and what a once-in-a-lifetime photo, of course. And one final piece of space video. If you're a Nutella lover or you work for the brand, couldn't have asked for a better ad than that. The jar of Nutella was spotted floating inside the Orion spacecraft on Monday. Happened about 4 minutes before the Artemis crew made history, breaking the record for human spaceflight's farthest distance from Earth. Also goes to show that even in space, finding time for a good snack is something we all have in common. It's like it rotated just so perfectly right there in front of the camera. That's excellent. It's also funny to just see it drifting on by. I can't imagine having things just floating by your head at any given moment. Ah, good stuff there, you know. And as we've been talking about, maybe you can make a Nutella sandwich and enjoy it outside this afternoon just because the weather is going to be absolutely phenomenal. We're also going to be watching for some showers coming up later on tomorrow as well. Doesn't look like very much, but Chief Meteorologist Chris Tomer will be in this evening starting at 4 o'clock, letting you know all the latest with your hour-by-hour forecast and running down the weekend outlook and how warm things are looking as we go toward next week, giving you the latest forecast tweaks and updates. So until then, enjoy the afternoon. Hopefully you have a chance to enjoy all that blue sky. And as we mentioned earlier today, if you're going to be out there for a little while, put on the sunscreen just because that sun is nice and bright. Otherwise, have a great afternoon and thanks for joining us.